Hello there, welcome back to my channel and to what I call part of my thought series for today. Actually, I woke up this morning and I was feeling somehow down in the sense that I was asking myself, just like I believe a lot of people are doing, I asked myself, and I don't know if you sometimes find yourself asking such a question too, about what is the true meaning of life. What is all this struggle to survive and succeed and be self-fulfilled all about? And in an effort to really get an answer to such an important question, because life is for the living, and there is no way you can live this life for the living without the means of exchange. And what is the means of exchange? The means of exchange is the resources that you need to buy what you need or give out what you have in order to receive what you are going to use to buy what you need. Now, I ask myself, why is the world filled so much with such competition that a lot of people find it difficult to get a hold on what life is all about? Who can answer this question about what is the true meaning of life? Why do we have to struggle all our lives where we receive enjoyment, and after some time this enjoyment seems to extinguish, and we crave another enjoyment, and we receive that new enjoyment, and after some time it extinguishes, and the cycle goes on and on till the rest of our lives in this earthly third dimensional plane. These questions and so many other questions always come to mind, depending on the position where you find yourself in your lines of thought. And I began to understand that this competition is stemming from the fact that we as human beings are naturally egoistic. Egoism is one of the reasons why certain systems were created to profile humanity, in the sense that some people are profiled to be the haves, while others are profiled to be the have-nots. While I believe strongly that there should be a system where there is a degree of equitability in the system of things in the human existence, because you find out that if you take a look at all the classifications of the creative existence that we are living in this life, third dimensional existence, that we have what is called the still degree of existence. In this very degree of existence, you find the seas, the oceans, the rocks, and all the things that do not move. That's why they call them still, because they are actually inanimate. And then above that, we have the vegetative degree of existence. Vegetations which are there to actually supply part of the oxygen that we receive to live as human beings, because we use oxygen to breathe so that our lungs can feed our blood cells with the oxygen molecules that we need to survive as human beings. Now, with this degree of existence, I believe, just like the still or the inanimate degree of existence, their level of existence are made by the creative force to actually be sufficient for themselves. That means they don't have extra instincts for whatever, because there is always something out there which nudges them on to grow and remain in that state, satisfied with all that is of them as long as creation is concerned. And then above this vegetative degree of existence, which actually is very important, though some of them have gone extinct for the result that human activities have somehow rendered most of them extinct. And what is driving the human operations to render some of this vegetative degree of existence extinct is because of our ego. Now, let us move from there to the animate degree of existence. Animals who share the same 5 senses with us. The only difference is that we, on the human speaking level, have received another extra sense we call the 6th sense. But talking about the animate degree of existence, it is such that we sometimes I wish that there is some degree of equilibrium that we share with this animate degree of existence, because they have the same wishes we have on that base level of the 5 senses, which is the desire for food, desire for shelter, desire for love, desire for sex, desire for family. These are the same things they share with us, but the only difference we have with them is that we have the extra sense, which is the 6th sense, with which we perceive the outer world, which is not disclosed to them in their level, because they are always satisfied. That is why a dog sees the world differently from a normal human being, because their level of existence is such that they are satisfied with that level of existence, because they have all they need with the 5 senses that they have received as their normal natural instincts. Now, the problem has become the human speaking level of existence, because somehow we have, through our egoistic nature, craving for enjoyment, for development from one thing or the other, have somehow encroached into these other degrees, thereby making the general existence of all things in this world be in such a precarious situation that sometimes it is unfathomable to think of the consequences that we have brought upon the world. Now, coming to the point of my discussion today, let me just ask, what is the true meaning of life? Why do we have to struggle all our lives to make ends meet when the earth and the riches therein are actually inexhaustible? Why do we create these systems that provide competition in some of these things that humanity require to live excellent, happy life? What is responsible for this desire to want more and more and more and more? And I am probably the chief of such a human level of existence, where we always, just like others, like myself, want more and more and more, and at the end of the day, deep inside us, we feel empty. How do we feel that emptiness? How do we bridge this gap between the haves and the have-nots, so that we have earth existence that somehow provides and recycles itself? Because I believe that the riches of this world can go round to satisfy every human need, including all the other degrees of existence, without destroying one another in order to survive. Now, let me say this, that a time is coming, probably the time is now, when we should look back as human beings and begin to think of the good of others. Because I believe that the anguish, the pains that every single human being, every animal, everything created in this world go through because of the consequences of our egoistic nature having come to that point where it has climaxed, is such that it's affecting the general operation of this earth. And therefore, I believe that if care is not taken, if nothing is done to alleviate the problems of the anguishes that are generated into this world, of course, probably in the spiritual realm, if nothing is done, a time is coming when we'll actually destroy ourselves. When the law of natural selection will take effect, and the fight for justice on the part of these degrees of existence that are being affected by our operations and egoistic desires for survival and for supremacy and for anything else you want to call it. So I call for a new arrangement of doing things where love of others become the principal desire and intention that we have going forward. So I call you listening to me now to come into this argument, to come into this intention, to see if there is a way that we can help one another. For example, if you have the secret that will unlock the talents and passions of people and put them into practice in such a way that everyone is satisfied with the fact that they are able to use their purposes in life to provide for one another, so that we live in a world where there is peace, where there is fulfillment, where there is enough for everyone. Why do we hoard these secrets? Why is it that everything is about money? If I have something that would benefit another, yes, I should be able to have copyright rights over them and be able to make my living through them. But if there are others that we can share to help others who are less privileged, because that's why our fingers are not equal. They can never be equal. There are all those who are created to be intelligent, and there are all those who are created to be less intelligent. And the reason for this is because when these hands are together, they do perform in their different capacities to make sure that desires and fulfillments are met, no matter the degree of or level of existence for such a person or such an entity. Okay? Now, let us look at this word and know that sometimes most of these things we gather, at some point in our lives, we will look at them and say, is it worth it? All these secrets we are hoarding in order to maximize our gathering, our productivity, our storage rooms and all that, at the detriment of some other people in this world who are weak internally and of course consequently externally. Okay? Let us think of a world where we can help one another, where we can love one another above human intellectual reasons, above ordinary reasons that prevent us from helping one another. If you have something of intelligence that you wish to share with people, do it plainly. Make money doing it, but allow some certain degree of clemency that will trickle down the line so that others will benefit from it. That is what the essence of this life is. That is why we are the disintegrated, shattered particles of one soul. And this one soul we have to build. And the risk and the consequences of this is such that if we don't begin to mend and glue these different shattered particles of humanity into one single happy soul, a time will come when we will look back and say, is all this struggle worth it? Is love not that which covers multitude of our inadequacies? Is love not that instrument, that natural thing that actually covers all crimes? Let us think of others while we enjoy in our lives, while we bask in the glory of the knowledge that we have received. What is the point in keeping them to ourselves when we can share them? I find myself particularly struggling as a single father, struggling to take care of my children. And I look at the internet, there is so much competition. Nobody is giving anything out for free. Everything is about money. Everything is about money. And I ask myself, why is life like this? Probably if I find myself in such a position, maybe I will do the same. But I am talking from a point of view of someone who is, struggling, just like so many people out there, trying to digitalize ourselves in a way that we will be able to sell or make use of the values that we have inside us to serve others. It could be passion, it could be talent, it could be anything that we can use to serve others faithfully so that we can actually exhibit the glory of the creative force we call God in its various forms. A time has to come when we ask this question: is this struggle, is this hoarding of knowledge, is this, all these things, are they worth it? What joy does it bring? I remember the statement made by the great Steve Jobs, which a statement that was accredited to him about the fact that towards the end of his life, he found out that this life is actually vanity. And how do you answer such a question? That is life really vanity? Why can't we begin at this point in time to see that we develop others so that we can help one another to have a life and a globe and a world that is filled with joy, so that the smoke that arises from this gratitude that everyone shares goes out there to repair everything that has been damaged in our world. So please, I don't know if what I'm saying makes sense, but if it does, please share this. Share this far and wide so that we will begin to ask that question: is humanity not first? Because I believe that humanity should be first. Therefore, whatever talent, whatever gifts, whatever passions that we have, we can begin to use them to serve others faithfully, irrespective of the profits that we make doing so, that we can have things that we can share so that it can trickle down the line and reach everyone, including all the other degrees of existence, the animate degree, the inanimate degree, the vegetative degree, and every other thing in creation, so that we can have a world that is worth living. I'll come back to you in my next podcast, probably with another topic. But before then, let me say that I wish you the best that whatever intention you have can bring to you. And it is my prayer that you find this very message enlightening and share it as far and wide as possible. And remain blessed doing so. Okay? This is Michael Mbadiwa of the Life Goal Solutions, coming to you from here, and from me from here. It's good day. Bye, friends. I love you all.